Starting a new module which is known as psychometrics, which is the part B of the fourth module. So we are entering into the fourth module of your syllabus. In that you have two divisions. The one is the refrigeration part and second one is the psychometrics part. We are skipping the refrigeration part and we are continuing with the psychometrics part, which is the second part of your fourth module. So what is psychometrics? The property of the moist air or dry air and water vapor mixture is known as psychometric properties, and a systematic study of these properties is known as a psychometry. So what is it all about? A psychometry is a study of moist air. In a simple line I can say the psychometry is just a study of moist air wherever it might be. Especially we find the moist air in the air conditioning systems, is that? So it is the main factor which affects the efficiency and the performance of the air conditioning systems are the humidity. Okay, that particular thing has been concerned and governed very much in the air conditioning system. What is that humidity? It is a factor where it represents how much water vapor is present within the atmosphere. That is known as humidity in the general sense, right? What is humidity? How much water vapor content is present in the air. That is known as humidity. The study of all these humidity factors is nothing but air conditioning, and study of all these properties is known related to these all systems is known as psychometrics. Okay, in this the mainly we will be focusing on water vapor, the moisture and dry air. So before entering into the depth of psychometrics, we shall understand some of the important terms and definitions which are very much required in the psychometry. See, these around 10 to 11 definitions are there, which are very much important for your examinations because it has been repeated many times. If you see the question papers, all it has is these definitions. Or in this 10 to 11 definitions, you will be getting 5 to 6 definitions which will be frequently asked in your exam. So let us go one by one. Number one is the dry air. So what is dry air? It is nothing but a normal air, the atmospheric air, but the condition is the dry air is without the water vapor. If I want to call certain air as a dry air, what is the preliminary condition? The preliminary condition is that that particular air is totally without water vapor. If there is no water vapor in it, then it is called as a dry air. As simple it is. Okay, it is a mixture of nitrogen. You know that atmospheric air consists of nitrogen, oxygen and small percentage of other gases, which has a molecular weight of 29. You know what is molecular weight. You have studied in your 5th module of your BTD. Kindly go and revise it. Revise the Dalton's law of partial pressure, which is very much important for this particular topic. What is mole fraction, mass fraction, all those concepts you need to revise, which will again repeat in this particular chapter in ATD. Okay, so molecular weight is 29. So dry air is the air which without the water vapor. Now what is moisture? Simple, it is a mixture of air, which is dry air, plus water vapor. If the water vapor content is present in the air, then it is known as the moist air. Here comes the crucial part, the saturated air. What is saturated air? If the partial pressure of the water vapor corresponds to the saturation pressure of water at the mixture's temperature. Okay, so that is known as saturated air. That means if the wet, I mean to say the moist air consists of water vapor as well as the dry air, is it? The dry air is not taken into account in most of the cases. The main part to be concentrated is the water vapor. So the water vapor's partial pressure, if it is equal to the saturation pressure of the mixture, saturation pressure at the mixture's temperature, then it is known as the saturated air. Okay. Now, what that is saturated condition in fact. Now, saturated air is a mixture of dry air and saturated water vapor. Okay. So, if the water vapor present in the dry air is saturated, then the air is known as saturated air, because dry air is not taken into consideration. Dry air will be dry air, it will not change its properties very often. So, we just concentrate on the water vapor. So, if water vapor in that particular dry air is, in the particular moist air is saturated, then the whole air is known as saturated air. Then what is unsaturated air? If the temperature of the air and water mixture is above the saturation temperature, I mean, I am talking about the mixture now. If the mixture's temperature is more than the saturation temperature, then the air is known as then that particular vapor is known as superheated vapor. Okay, that is superheated vapor. Now the mixture of dry air plus superheated vapor is unsaturated air. Okay, so these are the things you need to understand. This is very important. The dry bulb temperature and the wet bulb temperature. These two definitions are very much important. What is a dry bulb temperature? Temperature when you measure with a normal thermometer, whatever the reading you obtain from the normal thermometer, like this one, okay, the normal thermometer, then it is a dry bulb temperature. The temperature reading, whatever you get from a normal thermometer, in mercury inline thermometer, that is a dry bulb temperature. But if the same thermometer is wrapped with a wet cloth like this, if it is wrapped with a wet cloth, you take a cloth, you soak it in the water and wrap it around the bulb of a thermometer. When you wrap it, then when you measure the temperature, that is known as a wet bulb temperature. Okay, it is a common sense that which temperature would be higher, the temperature without wrapping or temperature with wrapping of a wet cloth. If you wrap the wet cloth around the bulb, generally the temperature decreases, is it? So therefore, always the dry bulb temperature is on the higher side and wet bulb temperature is on the lower side. So what is dry bulb temperature? It is equilibrium temperature of the mixture indicated by an ordinary thermometer. That's it. It is a what is wet bulb temperature? It is the equilibrium temperature of the mixture indicated by the thermometer whose bulb is covered or wrapped with a wet cloth. So this is the difference between the dry bulb temperature and the wet bulb temperature. Always dBT is greater than WBT. Okay. Now, what is dew point temperature? This is very important. Read this sentence. When the unsaturated air is cooled at a constant pressure, the mixture reaches the saturation temperature which is corresponding to the partial pressure of water vapor. This temperature is known as a dew point temperature. So, to be understood very simply, what you have to do is, this dBT is at the atmospheric pressure. Whatever the temperature line you are observing here, this is at the atmospheric condition, atmospheric pressure in fact. And WBT also, it is in the atmospheric pressure only, but you are wrapping with a wet cloth. But if you draw a TS diagram with the help of a pressure which is corresponding to the partial pressure of water vapor. Now, what is this particular thing? I will mark it here. Okay. So, this particular thing, whole the thing is what? This particular thing is the temperature line which is corresponding to the partial pressure of the water vapor. So, when the mixture is at the partial pressure of the water vapor, then if you condense back, now what are you doing here? You are condensing the whole thing back. That means you are decreasing the temperature. Then it will reach to a constant temperature and change its phase, right? That particular temperature is known as a dPT. Okay. So generally, what we will say that dPT is nothing but when the unsaturated air is cooled at the constant pressure. This is unsaturated air. All the thing which is here, which is unsaturated, because it is in the superheated condition. When unsaturated air is cooled at constant pressure, the mixture reaches the saturation temperature. So the mixture will reach at the saturation temperature. This is your saturation temperature, right? Corresponding to the which one? Partial pressure of the water vapor. Corresponding to the partial pressure of water vapor, then this particular temperature is known as a dew point temperature. Next one, the specific humidity. Specific humidity is also called as the humidity ratio. It is defined as simple, the mass of water vapor to the mass of dry air. So what is specific humidity? Specific humidity is nothing but it is mass of water vapor divided by the mass of dry air. Generally, in the examinations, in the 2 to 3 times he has repeated this particular expression. Not very often, but sometimes he has been given this thing to derive, and it is not a big deal also. We shall do it. So, derive an expression for the specific humidity of air-water vapor mixture. This is asked for 6 marks. So, first you have to specify and define what is the specific humidity. So specific humidity is denoted by omega, which is mv by ma. Okay, assuming the ideal gas for ideal gas behavior for both dry air and water vapor. So you are assuming that both dry air and water vapor both are working as a, both are behaving as a ideal gases. Then for water vapor, it is PV is equals to mRT, and P to the suffix V for water vapor, and M to the suffix V and R to the suffix V. And V and T are same for water vapor as well as air. Okay, whatever the volume and the temperature remains same for both water vapor as well as air. So there is no suffixes for the V and T's. Okay, similarly you will write for air, which is Pa into V divided is equals to Ma into Ra into T. So take out MV and Ma and write down the expressions, and MV you substitute here, Ma is substitute here. What happens? The V by T get cancels. Okay, then it will reduce us to this particular expression, which is R of A divided by R of B into PV by PA. And R of A is, you have to remember this, the R of air volume, it is 18.016, and R of water vapor is generally 28.966. So if you divide these two, you will get omega as 0.622 PV by PA, or it is directly equal to MV by MA. Either of the expressions you can use for the problems. Okay, kindly note this derivation, it might be asked. Next, the relative humidity. So relative humidity is that particular factor which tests the saturation pressure of the water. So let us see into it. Relative humidity is defined as the ratio of partial pressure of water vapor in the mixture to the saturation pressure of water at the dry bulb temperature. So you are fixing, you should compare the things at a particular temperature, is it? So we are comparing at the dry bulb temperature. So what is this relative humidity? Relative humidity is a ratio of the partial pressure of water vapor, that is whatever the pressure it is existing in that particular mixture, water vapor. Partial pressure of water vapor is known as, that is the one thing, partial pressure of water vapor. Now, whatever the pressure which is existing now in the humid air. Now, what is saturation pressure? When you divide the present pressure with the saturation pressure, saturation pressure is the expected pressure, the saturated pressure, is it? And partial pressure is the existing pressure. So you are getting the comparison between the existence pressure and the expected pressure. This is very important. What is the existing pressure now and what is the expected pressure? So if this relative humidity is 100%, that means your present partial pressure is equal to the saturation pressure of the water vapor. That is how it is correlated. That is why it is called as relative humidity. So relative humidity is given by PV by Vs. What is Vs? It is saturation pressure of water at dBT, and PV is partial pressure of the water vapor. Also, the relative humidity is MV by MVS also. It is mass of water vapor divided by mass of water vapor in saturated conditions. So you can define either of the ways. You can use this particular definition also, or you can use this particular definition in your examination. Okay. Here are the certain points that are very important to understand these concepts. Relative humidity of the saturated air is 100%. That is what I was just discussing. Okay, and saturated condition is at the saturated condition, what happens? Your the pressure of the water vapor will be equal to the saturated pressure of water vapor. Your present pressure of the water vapor will be equal to the saturated pressure of the water vapor. If it is both are equal, then what happens to the phi value? Phi is nothing but relative humidity. It becomes 1, so it is 100%. And there is a topic called as a wet bulb depression, a term called as a wet bulb depression. What is this? It is this difference between the dry bulb temperature and wet bulb temperature. This particular wet bulb depression is also an account of dryness fraction also. Okay, how much here, and it is also an account for humidity also. Even the wet bulb temperature is an indirect measure of the dryness fraction. So that is what I was telling you. Wet bulb temperature and wet bulb depression, all these are indirect calculation of how much humidity is there, how much water content is there in that particular air. So that is nothing but the dryness fraction, is it? So the wet bulb temperature and wet bulb depressions, all these are nothing but you are indirectly calculating the dryness fraction of it. For the saturated air, this is very important guys. For saturated air, your dPT is equal to dBT is equal to WBT. That means all your three temperatures would be equal. Your dew point temperature will be equal to the dry bulb temperature, and dry bulb temperature is equal to the wet bulb temperature. You know this already. The WBT is always less than dBT except when the air is the saturated. In the saturated condition, these both will be equal, correct? Next one, the degree of saturation or saturation ratio. This is indicated by mu. It is defined as the ratio of specific humidity of actual air. This is very important, understand this. It is ratio of specific humidity of actual air to the specific humidity of saturated air. Specific humidity is indicated by omega, is it? So omega divided by omega s. So what is omega? Omega is the specific humidity of actual air. What is the present air now? Now what is omega s? Omega s is nothing but the specific humidity of saturated air. So this is also given by the expression 5 into Pt minus Pvs divided by Pt minus Pv. What is this Pt? Pt is nothing but the total pressure. That means what is the atmospheric pressure? What is the pressure of existence? That is equal to the partial pressure of vapor plus partial pressure of the dry air. The mixture of these two is nothing but the atmospheric pressure, is it? So it is Pv plus Pa generally. So Pv is nothing but partial pressure of water vapor, and Pa is nothing but partial pressure of the air. Now, enthalpy of the humid air or enthalpy of a moist air. How do you calculate the enthalpy of a humid or a moist air? It is a summation of the enthalpy of dry air, which is HA, and enthalpy of water vapor, which is HV. Correct? Only two components are there in atmospheric air. One is the dry air and the water vapor. If you add the enthalpies of these two things, you will get the enthalpy of whole air. So that is capital H in the sense it is enthalpy, small h in the sense it is specific enthalpy. So what is the difference between these two? You have studied in the BTD. Capital H is measured in kilojoules. If you do it per kg, per mass, if you divide it by mass, you will get kilojoules per kg. Then it is known as a specific enthalpy. Specific properties are always calculated the property divided by the mass. Okay. So you take down these three expressions which might be useful in the problems also. So this particular expression is very important. The specific enthalpy is given by Cp of air into TdB. This is the nothing but the dry bulb temperature which is specified here. Omega is specific humidity. 2500 is a constant plus 1.88 into, close the bracket here, I forgot to close it. So just close the bracket here, 1.88 into dry bulb temperature again. So remember all these expressions, remember all these definitions which are very much important for the further concepts also, and even for the problems and even for your examinations also. Out of all this, some of the definitions will definitely be asked in your examinations. Okay, so kindly stay